Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is C and I am super excited to meet you. Okay, guys, today is a Denmark day and this one is titled 7 top reasons to move to Denmark in 2024. Okay, this is a recent video. These are recent reasons for you to move to Denmark. So super excited. Subscribe to this channel and let's get right into this.
Hey friends, I have been to over 135 different countries, lived all around the world and have picked Denmark as my place to settle down. So if you're considering to move to Denmark for work or for study, this video will tell you straight up what are the biggest upsides you can get by moving here. 1. Denmark is a great place to work or to study. But let's take work first. So Denmark and the rest of Scandinavia, so like Sweden, Norway, have excellent work-life balance. What this means in practice is that you get a lot of free time, so meaning time that you can spend with your family, with your kids, you get long holidays, and just a lot more. So this is a very big deal here, and you can actually see it that you have a lot more time for yourself when you work in a company here than you would do in other countries. But on top of this extra time that you get for yourself, what you get when you work in a corporation in Denmark, for instance, is that you have a very flat and accessible work culture. So there's no complicated hierarchies like Mr. and Doctor, whatever. Like they're very friendly people, your opinion matters, and it's just very, very relaxed. You'll notice that the minute you close into a Danish office, it's very relaxed. And on top of that, it's a very trust environment in the sense that you go to work, you do your job, you do your things the way you're supposed to do, and nobody will be bugging you if you stop work early, if you went for a swim in the middle of the day. Like it just lifts a weight off your shoulders, and you know it's not like East Asia that you just need to be in the office until your boss leaves. That's definitely not the case here. People trust you if you get your things done. And then in most companies you also get like lunch and breakfast sometimes, fitness clubs, and a lot of other clubs. For instance, in Maersk we can go sailing with that. We even have massages in the office. Amazing. In many companies here. So it's definitely a very, very good place to work. There are of course exceptions. I haven't, for instance, not always been happy at work. Like in any other place in the world, there are certain periods like when you actually need to work very, very hard. So work-life balance goes a little bit on the side. But again, in most cases you're good, and on average you could say it's better than in many other places. And again, coming from experience, I have worked in Americas, in different places in Europe. I mean, this is definitely, it's very, very good. Just to give you a bit of perspective, right? So I never thought myself I would be working in corporate. So I work in Maersk here, in a big company here, and I was just an absolute renegade when I was growing up. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be a startup guy, entrepreneur. I was just thinking like I would never work in a company. I don't want to work for anyone else. And the fact that it's just so good here, it literally made me change my mind. And then when it comes to studying, so it's great to study in Denmark. It's very fun. It's free for Europeans, so it's a terrifically good deal here as well. Not only you will have the time of your life as I did as I came here to study, for example, in Copenhagen Business School myself. That's why I came to Denmark. I just had an absolute great time. But on top of that, it's just the way it's structured is very easy to then integrate to the job market after you are done with your studies, or even sometimes to integrate to the job market during your studies. If you want to hear more about this, just check this video over here where I go through my experience in the CBS Copenhagen Business School. Number 2 is that in Denmark you get a high income, and let's be honest, like money matters. So in Denmark you make good money. So even if taxes will take a huge amount of your salary, much more than in other places, you'll still be better off than in most of the world. And then looping back to what I just said before about like here that you don't do a lot of really long work hours, on average at least, right? It's my opinion, and again, just take it take it as my opinion, that the net income per hour actually worked.
Okay guys, this is really beautiful. Good income in Denmark is really amazing. Okay, if you're moving into a country for the first time, the first thing you'll be checking out is the safety of that country, and then how much you'll be able to earn and live in that country. This is really beautiful. Okay, if you're considering moving to Denmark, then this video is going to be really helpful to you.
Including commute, so including when you go and back from the office. In Denmark, this, like how much money you get in your pocket, but actually time that you're actually working on, this is really, really high. Because again, like you might make more money in, like, I don't know, in the United States or other countries, but you likely have to work a lot more to get, the same amount of money. Because again, the work-life balance is so good here. So in practice, that means that because you earn high income here in Denmark, if you're a relatively frugal person, you can really save a lot of money. And you can also see this video over here where I just go through my top 5 ways on how to save money in Denmark. But the fact that I had this high income and at the same time have a lot of free time, because, you know, the work-life balance. This was the main reason why I managed to travel so much, especially before having kids. 3 is that Denmark is a beautiful place. So Denmark is a beautiful place. Like, I'm taking Copenhagen, the capital, as an example. Here you're just surrounded with beauty and style in like 3 specific ways. You could say first on architecture. So the old town and the old buildings in Copenhagen are just insanely pretty. So you have this old-time architecture that was just not bombed during the World Wars. So it was kind of out of that. It might not like look as imperial as at London or Paris, but it just makes it really nice to go for a stroll. And there's also even a modern side to the city. And like when it comes to modernity, the Danish architects are just famous the world all over. So it's just nice architecture. And then you have interior design. So I personally love the Scandinavian design, and in Copenhagen and in other cities in Denmark, you just see it all over, right? You see it in the restaurants, you see it in the public spaces, you see it in the museums, in the offices. It's just nice. Even when you go to people's homes, there is a coziness that goes with this clean and minimalistic look, with also this soft lights and a lot of wood and nature inside the spaces, beautiful. Right? So I genuinely like this, and I want to keep that in my life. And I tell you again, like when the moment you move here, you actually start appreciating things like this. Last on this is that even people are stylish here. People in Copenhagen and in other big cities in Denmark, they just look nice. I mean, they dress up nice. They spend plenty of hard currency looking stylish, right? So it's just nice to be around, and just pushes yourself to be up on your game, right? So Copenhagen, and I'll just give you Copenhagen as an example, but you can extrapolate to the rest of the cities, right? So they have just huge and beautiful parks all over. So, right? So you have this Frederiksberg Park in Copenhagen, in Frederiksberg, that is just so nice. Then you have the King's Garden, Amagerfællet, which is this kind of crazy wild area that's over here. You have Tivoli, that's super nice. So there's really a lot of beautiful places to hang out with as well. When you have this free time to actually not spend it home, but spend it in all these beautiful places. Number 4 is that things in Denmark just work. So most of the times, still, you know, if you come from abroad, this is crucial. So beautiful. Everything runs on time, people as well. So nobody's late here. It just removes a friction from life, right? So it's a digital place where you basically receive all your bills and notices from the state and all that via like email or via an app on your phone. You can basically go without having cash in your pocket for like forever. I just don't know the last time I touched cash. So it's really like that. Taxes are all done online. You can basically do almost everything in a very simple and straightforward ways. It's just years ahead from most of the world here. I think this is really, really good. And then even just to give you an example, right? Like when it comes to quality of life, when COVID came, we got locked down here as it happened to most other places in the world, right? But we never really got a strict lockdown. You had like the opportunity to go to the parks and just be outside and like, okay, just don't mingle a lot with a lot of people, right? But there was not even one single day during lockdown that I had to actually stay home. I mean, that's just a beautiful experience as well, especially when you have kids, that you know you could just go to the playground and just be fun with it. And on top of that, the vaccine and testing rollout worked out okay. So of course, there's always something to criticize about it, right? But overall, it was really good. So this is something that you need to consider if, you know, these crazy things would happen again in the future. Number 5 is that Denmark will change you for the better. So, and this is kind of an addendum to what I just said about things working, in the sense that you are the average of the people you hang out most with, right? So, and if those people are always on time, mostly generally most honest, and they're generally relaxed, they're not stressed, they're sporty, they love the outdoors, you will be like by osmosis, you know, forced to become more like them. And that's good. In South America, where I'm from Argentina, people are sporty. At least my social circle was. But here is just the next level, right? So like, it's just an inspiring context in the sense that you just see the marathon, there's like 11,000 people and you have a lot of your friends doing things like this. It just pushes you to say, hey, you know, like maybe I should be more like my friends and also work out more. And on top of that, I think like the biggest change I had over the last 10 years though, is that I just became a lot more structured. Again, as a Latino guy, I used to be a little more spontaneous, which has its good and bads, but there's so many good things I would say that happen in my life by just, you know, learning to wake up early, plan my days, installing good habits. And it's just so much easier to do it here in Denmark than it would be, for example, for me back home. Number 6 is that Denmark is just very safe. So Copenhagen, the other cities, the countryside, it's just super safe. I used to joke, and I keep saying this in my YouTube videos. You can literally walk with bills blinded in the street and nobody will do anything. Of course, don't leave your bike or your stroller without like a lock, you know, that will immediately disappear. But when it comes to the really important things, the feeling of safety, the feeling that you or your loved ones will be fine, that's absolutely the case here. You can actually leave your stroller outside in a cafe with a baby inside and know that that's gonna be fine, nobody will steal the baby. Sounds like crazy to say this, right? But that's not the case in most of the world. Here, the fact that you just remove this worry that you might have in your mind about safety just makes it so well. I mean, it's something that, again, coming from South America, where this is definitely a problem, this is so good. And again, it's one of those things that invaluable, you could say. Number 7 is that Denmark is a great place to raise kids. So I can tell you myself straight up, Denmark is excellent to raise kids, and that's because of a combo of all the things I have been mentioning up to a point, right? The fact that the work culture is as relaxed as it is means that you can leave the office or stop working at 3:30 to 1 p.m. pick up your kids from kindergarten, and nobody will say absolutely anything. In most countries, you would expect that maybe you need to stay at the office until 5:30, 6, and then go and pick up the kids. The fact that you can do this is just a blessing. Then, as I said, there's a lot of parks and green areas, so there's a lot of playgrounds. You can just bike around with the kids. You don't need to have a car. So there's a lot of things like this that you can actually use to hang out a lot with my family that you could do in other places. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the safety. I mean, the fact that I can just leave my son running around knowing that nobody will steal them or kidnap them and so on. That fact happens in other countries, unfortunately, right? The last thing on kids is that having kids in Denmark is relatively cheap. So in comparison to other countries, you don't really spend a lot of your income and a lot of your savings as well and so on having kids, because a lot of things are taken care of for yourself, and also because a lot of things, especially for kids, are cheap. So this is very important in case you plan to be here as a parent, and I made this video over here where I just go straight up.
Okay, really actually cheap having kids in Denmark. I mean, having kids has never been cheap to me, and hearing this right now is quite shocking. I mean, having kids in Denmark is cheap. Okay, guys, this is really
all the
beautiful.
costs I had in my first 2 years as a parent. So that's invaluable resources in case you want to move in and want to understand how much it would impact on your budget. Despite all these amazing things, Denmark is not the place for everyone. And in this video over here, I'll just go for the specific types of people who should not move to Denmark, because again, like, you might not just fit the bill for having a happy and successful life here. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, guys, this is really an amazing video. Okay, this is really good. If you're looking forward to moving to Denmark, this video is definitely going to be helpful to you. I enjoyed watching this. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, always drop in the comment section. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.